here, get your hand on my pocket. In my lecture, no El Hajj Malik repeat, I betcha. Sergeant of the Moorish, unified front toward Islam. Twist your arm like a blunt, won't spark it. But like Tiger Claw, debark it. Before anyone saw, not Cain, but I'm raw. Long live Iron Sheik, slaying the weak. Rhyming about rims, spinning on their Jeep. Making a mockery of the art and hard work. Put in by the veterans, now they gotta work. Boom in a coma, rap heart attack. I'm sure a premier beat would bring the guard back. Can't give it too much time in my rhyme, but I know mostly in rhyme they doing the crime. Build a ball court, a whack remedy. Living right around me is my worst enemy. I see that they look just like me. Award for hip hop when you're not an MC. Mastering the ceremony, very lonely. Rapping genuine, riding the beat ponies. Scrap the DJ and dancer like a phony. If you see me in some skinny jeans, you know they clone me. If you hear me rapping about crap, I'm Coke B. So do me like Big L or J and smoke me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. If you hear I killed assistant Grand Sheik, just know they're trying to get me down the Drew Ali road. Release me into the hands of Moor's dirty, knowing that they conspire and wanna hurt me. Offering me dishes with glass splinters, so they'll give me a rod, leave my jacket in the winter. Try to get me through she-cast with no weakness. Don't get it twisted cause you see us speechless. I put more trust in Jupiter KTS than fake Moors with more records than JVS. Telling me they save, but just wanna be paid. Don't wanna pay dues, but be men that's made. Pushing like to travel, but don't defend. And only when backs against the wall they wanna befriend. That's why I watch no face and beg no friend, cause only Arab Chambers will be there in the end. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. So fly, no lie, so high, I know this. Sniff your whack lines, you're so hopeless. Clones and drones, skull and boning. Getting homes for a loan and rims chroming. Crap shooting, watermelon eating. Mad cow, bird flu, chicken stealing. Human raccoon running through daisies. Selling out your race cause you're so lazy. Think you wanna level when he owns your masters, and master is holding his guard in laughter. Thinking you're balling, not me you're fooling. Armchair revolutionaries cooning. Hot like Mims, lynched from trees called Tims. Posing with your fat ass on covers of Maxim. Big fly eye shades under big brims. In some tight jeans you shouldn't wear, you're too slim. Can't stand your flow, we got me snoozing, drooling, falling asleep from your crooning. If I go to your show, it's me that's booing. Even if I may lay with my blood pooling. Go back to the essence with those old schooling. In the next realm I'm just keeping it moving. Don't need a whip, on comets I'm cruising. I'm the spirits, you need a bottle, stay boozing. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. I see some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When the truth gets revealed, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, on the real. When I uplift the fallen humans from the ashes, the phoenix will rise and live on after it clashes. Fezzes and head wraps, costume ball sashes. Atlantis and Pangea was us ruling the atlas. The mundane, some god and numb brain. True doubt is reincarnate, some self-proclaimed. Taking the lessons from Quran questions. Bible as my rolling pad, holy book circle 7. Forerunner Marcus Garvey coming in the whirlwind. Moorish Boba Muftis in the black turban. Pioneer exposed as the triple crown glows. Every negus has the negus as his throne. The temple as the body. truth as my shoddy. With no bulge, I'm still armed without the robbery. Master arts martial, and they marshal the law. Peace office abuse authority, fracture your jaw. Clapping at y'all at bachelor parties. Not knowing whether it's controlled by HAARP. Stopping the tapping of UH frequency. Sent to the higher self from Sirius B, or maybe Sirius A. The reverse is serious internet radio play. Like square shreddies are now diamond and new. Misleading, they charge a bill 50 for a shoe. It takes $5 to make. They load trucks with bins. Same goes for cars, construction Tims. So clean, no stunts. Revolution chumps, reclining in the armchair, speechless like monks. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably squeal. Change is coming. I'm watching hybrids running for shade, cause Earth's hot, not like a preheat oven. Raid the stores for UV protection. If AIDS can go through the condoms, who you protecting? Neglecting the truth and lie accepting. Not in for be a person, reparations expecting. Planes going down, but you're not ejecting. Too busy flossing with the spinning rims and white feet is flexing. Fronts are fake elements, that's not real gold. Running from police with guns is not too bold, cause you got a gun but won't shoot back, son, or shoot first and earn your way off earth. Suicide is a sin and sin is ignorance. Not thinking critical makes you ignorant. Missing the message. Ego filling your brain with nonsensical thoughts just to drive you insane. On the real, all these fake Moors know the deal. On the real, all these fake Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. Our leaders labeled black, they were assigned to us. As ancients, we flew, we didn't have to ride the bus or drink at their fountain. We didn't even need our own. The gun is a penis and every man is holding a chrome. Thinking it's tough, but when you shoot, you bust. Like Vixens holding you in with the camel hoof clutch. Smoking a Dutch, but taught much against the master. Sellouts would pay karmic debt in the life after. Don't believe me, seek the truth. I hear Hail Hitler when I play back these hip-hop loops that rap hip-hop. Nas said it's dead. Same gun he raps about, shot Jay in the head, cripple a team. These ball players, they cripple a dream. Counting the asses that they slap but won't get a bad rap. And rap sheets are written by them, it's police. Not following Moors, but niggas booming in their Jeeps. Europeans on the bus, they acting like niggas. Straight off the plantation, looking like J Hill figure. From the foreigner, you'll never get compensated. This armor you man saying you strapped, you been miseducated. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When the truth gets revealed, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, on the real. I know what dirty Moors, yeah. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I'm saying, I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I'm going at dirty rappers, lynching dirty Moors too. Hiding literature that Drew wrote to warn you. They claim to make you Muslim and make you sovereign. With paperwork and filings and fiat they robbing. They don't care about his words, throw it out like garbage. Or throw it at you when you're active, not passive. When they want to talk about like off a trampoline mattress. Treat them like a vamp or a teen actress. Get stabbed with the brand like a mean savage. This Inquisition divine, all others average. Millennium Renaissance, heroes in our classes. Fed with the czar controlling facets. Ask if they heard about Moors, they say no. But Masons, they obviously know. Down the handshakes and rituals with skull and bones. They even know about owls burning in Bohemian Grove. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. Dirty Moors killed Drew. I read the FBI papers on loyal Moors, emergency fund rapers, Moorish literature and divine balance changers. Might as well say Drew Ali was born in a manger. Prophet puts poison inside and his food smelled danger. Got me treating every Moor like a stranger. Grand Sheik pumpkin stumbling drunk in their feds. What was proclaimed for every meeting was not read. Some Moors are so active, prophet can't be dead. Thanks Moorish teachers away, I can't be led. Actions speak, then I consider what's said. And what's said was study, then study yourself. Honest to the prophet, noble true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. Everybody wants to be just like true Ali, but nobody wants to care about true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did.
I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. A lot of Moors know. A lot of Moors are playing like there wasn't a sellout and everybody's cool, everybody's friends in the Moorish nation. We're going to remind you. We know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. Drew Ali laid to rest. Hundreds of Chicagoans attended the funeral last week of Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Temple, who died at his home after a long illness. Services were held from the Pythian Temple, and the Prophet was buried at Burr Oak Cemetery. Attorney Aaron Payne Ali, wearing the white gloves, becomes the new head of the society. Do you even know who Aaron Payne Ali is? Well, that's the same guy who signed the death certificate saying that Noble Drew Ali died of a long illness. Matter of fact, let's just do it this way. Now, how is it that he died of an illness? How is it that Noble Drew Ali died of illness, right? But Moorish Manufacturing Company, founded by Noble Drew Ali, had the Moorish bodybuilder and blood purifier for men, women, and children. Beneficial for rheumatism, lung trouble, rundown constitution, indigestion, loss of manhood. Remember, this is 1920s, before Viagra and all that stuff. Indigestion and loss of manhood. Instructions: pour contents of package into a quart of boiling water. Let stand for 20 minutes. Strain, bottle, keep in a cool place. Dose: 1 wine glass full, once daily before or after meals. These teas are made from the purest natural herbs. Contains no harmful drugs. Prepared by Moorish Manufacturing Corporation, Noble Drew Ali, founder. Address, phone number. So, how is it that he dies of illness when he was producing this? We know what dirty Moors did. We know what dirty Moors did. We know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. You know what dirty Moors did. Why do you think Dr. Sebi had to give him honors? Why do you think Noble Drew Ali got honors from Dr. Sebi, who all these people rep and say that that's their taught them how to go alkaline diet guy? How come Dr. Sebi knows about Noble Drew Ali and you don't? And how did Noble Drew Ali die from illness when he had this? So what's going on here? Something's going on. Somebody's not telling you something. I don't know what you thought you knew about Noble Drew Ali and Moorish Science Temple and Moorish movement and anything Moorish. I don't know what you thought you knew, but you don't know the half. And Drew Ali told you Moors. If I tell you everything, you're going to go back to sleep. These people didn't even get everything and they're sleeping. They didn't even get everything that Noble Drew Ali brought and they're sleeping still. Talking crazy about Moors. When we know what Noble Drew Ali went through to do what he had to do. For us to be able in 2021 to say we are a nation. Anybody else who looks like Negro, black, colored, or whatever, they're going to make any type of BS claim that they're going to make. The only legitimate claim on the American continent that they say North America is Moorish nationality. Ain't nothing else. If you wanted something else, then go somewhere else and go get it from there. And then come back here. Don't think you're going to be here and not get executed. Because you want to be a dead status. Whether they execute you financially, whether they execute you physically, whether they execute you psychologically, whether they execute your health, execute your sight, execute the way that your back works, selling you BS shoes, that once the body is out of line, everything else is going to be out of line. Honest, all the yogis and stuff forcing us to get supple, be water, don't be bricks, don't be a boulder, be earth. So we know what Dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. Because Noble Drew Ali said, don't call yourself Ali. So how come his name's Aaron Payne Ali? What's he trying? What's he trying? Anybody repping for him, they're a traitor. Because why would you rep for somebody who calling themselves Ali? And keep in mind, make sure that it's clear in your mind that all these people who are making claims after Noble Ali transition that, oh yeah, now they're the reincarnated whatever, know that they sat at Noble Ali's feet. They shined his shoes. They fixed the hem on his pants. Don't tell you the adept chamber and all that. Forget all that BS, because all these people around him were traitors. And he was the man amongst traitors. And still got the work that he was supposed to get done. To the point where people after him, they're not going to claim to be their self. They're going to be claiming to be the reincarnation of him. So if they're saying that they're going to be the reincarnation of Noble Drew Ali, and then they just change the name and then start calling themselves whatever they call themselves, but their intent was, I'm Noble Drew Ali reincarnated. Wouldn't that mean that Noble Drew Ali is the man? So we might as well do what he said, because if the traitors are going to use what he said to fool you into thinking that they're the man because they're part of some title position in the Moorish movement, as if a title means something. Like the Moorish elders say, you better know, you better fact check everybody You better fact check everybody right now. Because everybody played you off of what Noble Drew Ali brought to save the world. And told Moors, take it and save yourself. And some of us have taken it and saved ourselves. And again, we're just coming out from behind the veil to let you know, hey, this is what's going on, or whatever. And then we go back behind the veil and we're doing whatever we're doing. So you see us on this thing again or something. Because this is birthrights and nationality, which means it's not organization and all that. And if it's birthrights, that means it's yours. And if it's yours, you're going to bring out some white gloves and say that you're the man? Or are you going to give Noble Drew Ali his honors? And, you know that it's new moon in Taurus and all that stuff. So we're just throwing out the trash. We're just not being hoarders right now. We're just getting rid of the BS. We're doing the colon flush. It's bitter, but tomorrow morning, I'm going to feel a lot better than right now. Right? We're doing the flush. Cleaning out the BS. Because remember, it means to get rid of the stuff. Don't be a hoarder. So we're detoxing right now. You already know, peace to all the Taurus gang. Horn to your chin. Headbutt all day, every day. Just because everybody was parading around when it was their time. It's Taurus time now. And then don't forget, the moon is also you. So, because the moon's Gemini, guess what's next? And then you're going to get some headbutting again. Exactly. Because everybody needs a bully to be stronger. Only the punks don't fight back or whatever. At some time, you have to get the bully back, even if it's once. Have to. If you don't get the bully back. So that's who we are. Right? Bully everybody. Just because it's our time, you know what I mean? When it was Aries time and they were dealing with their issues or whatever, nobody was saying nothing. Everybody should just sit back, all right, let them do their thing. That's the Aries time. Oh, that's the Pisces time. We just let them do their thing. Let them do their thing because their time. Well, guess what? It's no socks bull time. It's, what do you mean you're just gonna let us run and people running away from us? That's the game? Okay, let's play. Because when we start jumping in stands and stuff like that, you realize that you shouldn't have did what you did. You're gonna realize you're running for your life. Because then you realize, oh snap, this wasn't a good idea. Like the people who do the log riding down the hill, and what's the thing? Let's go. Like it's either you trained for this or you might die on this hill. Sorry, you shouldn't have been riding a log down the hill like a dumbass. So it's our time right now. Do you believe in Allah? Of course I believe in Allah. Go ride the Mare of Steel then. pretend like you're not gonna go ride the mirror of steel because you believe in Allah. So what's the issue? This is just our time, our season. So you better not be in the stands either. You don't get mad when you get it. Just do like just do like Master Teacher. Just do like Master Teacher said. Just take your cat, go in the house. Take your cat, go in the house, close the drapes. And you just stay inside. You just stay inside. You just stay inside. Because it's not your time right now. Go inside and you stay inside, huh? Take your cat and go in the house. Take your cat and go in the house.
Focusing in on this issue. And I'm about to play some clips and we're going to talk about it. But before I do, I also just want to make this clear that I'm going to be focusing and using the Canaanland Moors, Cujo, Awa, El as an example, but the principle applies to everybody. So I don't want it to get confused as if I'm just trying to pick on this one brother. He's just providing great examples of the issues that we have within this movement and the issues we have with Moors in this movement. You know what I mean? Not nobody else, not pointing a finger at any other movement, the NOI or this movement or this group, and not person and not celebrity, ourselves.
How can't you point the finger at everybody else if they weren't part of this too? You can't say we're not going to point the finger at NOI and Rastas and Black Power and because they don't got nothing to do with Moors, because Moors are over here and they're Negro black colored over there. No, they're Moors too. Good try though. But you're only going to get the dumb people with those ones. You're only going to get the dumb people with that. And the dumb people are the passive people who are on the low road, who are just down there doing whatever. And they don't care what they call themselves. But there are a select few, and Noble Drew Ali even told you few faithful Moors, who they want to get out of the low road and be on the high road. That's who we're here for. No one else matters. Because the people who already got this, they don't got to listen to this or whatever. They already got their birthright. They already got their birthright. So they're straight. Sent to all official businesses to the Home Office in care of E. Mili El, Supreme Grand Sheik. May 1931. May 21st, 1931. It was done when I was on my trip around to the temple in 1929. And they confessed a few days ago that it was done in a private meeting. And that meeting took place in August as I visited the different temples. They kept it a secret till we met in the convention. And in the midst of our grief for our beloved prophet, they knew we wouldn't be expecting anyone to come in the convention with envy and hate. Be expecting anyone to come into the convention with envy and hate. Yet they did, and railroaded their purpose through, unsuspecting, but not due caution, and to the effect that if there were any laws or resolutions passed that conflicted in any way with those of our prophets, they would not be considered law until the next setting of the Supreme Grand Council. And that body hasn't had a meeting yet. Didn't you just say Supreme Grand Council right there? Right, and this is 1931, right? So that means that after Noble Drew Ali, there was this thing called Supreme Grand Council. It existed. It's not an illusion, it's not some whatever, but it only has to do with the Moorish Science Temple of America. It has nothing to do with the Moorish nation. Absolutely nothing. Supreme Grand Council is limited to Moorish Science Temple of America. And keep in mind, you're talking about after Noble Drew Ali right now, where we already showed you that Aaron Payne, he's pretending to be Ali. And then Given Zell's pretending to be Ali. And then Kurtman Bay's pretending to be something. And then Fard and Elijah and them, they're pretending to be something. Ben Amim and Sweet Daddy Grace, all these different people. Took the fame and nobility and went out there and became millionaires. On what Noble Drew Ali brought to save the nation. But everybody should be a millionaire because Drew Ali took away all the secrets. Drew Ali took away all the Supreme Grand and all that stuff because he brought you everything it takes to save a nation, not a temple member. And what he brought to save the nation couldn't be corrupted, but it could be dispersed. So they dispersed it into all these different organizations. That imagine if all these organizations who were founded after 1930 were calling themselves Moorish Science Temple and not whatever they decided to call themselves. And what if all of them had Noble Drew Ali up front? You think things will be different than what it is right now? And if you think not, probably deserve to be on the low road. So you can see the magnitude of how these people sold out. Every individual who calls themselves Negro, black, colored, or whatever like that is supposed to be in the status of Farrakhan, just as a being living on the planet. That's supposed to be your status for life. Go anywhere, have no issues, do whatever it is you have to do in your life. You have a house, you got wives if you want them, your children are doing all types of great things and all that. That's supposed to be everybody's life. That's supposed to be everybody's life. But what they do, keep it for their selfish self. And you got to struggle and try to figure out how to do a beat system and all this. And, you know, you're worrying about this and that. And certain people have no worries. Why? Because your own stole your birthright. Didn't even put you on. But all of them knew. And any actions on his part as Supreme Grand Advisor before the meeting of the Supreme Grand Council was and is unlegal. Unlegal. They're not even illegal. They're unlegal. They're not even unlawful. What they're doing is unlegal. Unless he has been given that right by the convention, which body it was that made him that, then since the council didn't meet before our next regular national convention, which met in September 15th to September 20th, 1930, it was then up to the convention to accept him or reject him. They, the convention of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and empowered by the same, according to the Holy Quran in verse 22, chapter 10, voted the act of the Convention of 1929 unconstitutional. When it made Brother C. Kirkman Bey Supreme Grand Advisor, we sent this brother word to meet with us in that convention. I even told him at my house. He promised me on the day of our convention that he would be with us in the convention. He wouldn't meet us. Why? He didn't want to see himself voted out of office. And those that didn't know the law as handed down by the great prophet, or those who don't want to be governed by his law, he kept them away too. But the prophet had called them. And if they fail to come, we feel sorry for them. Right? Just like we feel sorry for certain people right now, playing games. Right? Being a traitor to the nation. Forget Moor Science Temple. And we're saying forget Moor Science Temple, and we're Moor Science Temple. And we're going to be Moor Science Temple. We're not going to stop calling ourselves Moor Science Temple. And these Moors knew what they were doing when they gave us a charter, because they were probably one of the last true ones left of these traitors who came into the movement and caused confusion. The act of the convention in 1930 was the first victory the Prophet won back for them, the true Moors, of their appointment and elections. So let us never be guilty of that sort of thing again. Some will tell you the people will have to say what must be done. The people have nothing to do with it. You be governed by the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and you would be all right. So the case went to a court of justice, and the judge decided in favor of the defendant, myself. And I hold a legal written statement from the court that the case has been tried and a decision rendered by Justice Eberhardt on May 7th, 1931. May is 5, then 7, then the 19, 3, 1, and that's 5. Can't make this up. Why are they playing games with you? With these infiltrated things. Miliil called out these infiltrators. Called them out. Called them out.
So, first up is a clip from about 2015 when I was on, there was a call with multiple Grand Sheiks, Canaanland, Moor, Cujo included. He's on the call, and I posed a question to all the Grand Sheiks. Who are the active members of the Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish Science Temple of America? And I want you to listen closely to the response, 2015. That's right.
So, actually, I'm going to read a question that's coming in from Assistant Grand Sheik Rami Salaam L. And the question coming through the chat says, does any of the Grand Sheiks know who are the members of the Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish Science Temple of America?
No. In 2015, it's 2021 right now. So in 2015 is the reference point of him asking about Supreme Grand Council. In 2015, we founded our temple 2010. So in 2015, we're already 5 years in as Moorish Science Temple of America, haven't done anything with regard to any of those so-called people calling themselves Moorish Science Temple of America, because we were brought in that all those people are traitors. So forget U.S. and all that. You go to quote-unquote Canada, denounce the Queen, and you be the landlords. Forget anything that anybody has to say, because you have a charter from Moorish Science Temple of America, which gives you authority. And you have a charter from Moorish Holy Temple of Science. If they try to shut that one down, you have the backup charter, so they can never shut you down, because we know for a fact that you Moors that's going to be doing whatever in Canada, so-called, you are the foundation of that. You are the first Moors ever from that jurisdiction to say they're interested in Noble Drew Ali. That's prophecy manifesting. That's prophecy manifesting. And they gave us our charter. It wasn't the Grand Major people who said that we're the prophecy. It wasn't all these other Aboriginal, Indigenous, whatever, who said that we're the prophecy. It was Moorish Science Temple that said it's a prophecy manifesting. And here's the article to prove that Noble Drew Ali wanted to do it. We were already severed 5 years from those people who call themselves Grand Major Temple or whatever right now, and they got Supreme Grand Council and whatever else. We've been separated from them. So when you hear my response to the question, now you know why my tone was like that. Because I'm already asking myself, why is this jackass asking dumb questions? As if he doesn't know that we're not connected with them. We're not connected with them. You know that phone conversations and all that, email back and forth. You never bring up anything about Supreme Grand Council. Never, ever. So this thing of bringing it up is again why, because of the new moon, we're going to throw out the trash. Trash is getting thrown out today because we're not going to hoard. Not going to hoard individuals because we thought that, you know what I mean, they could be the man. Get rid of them. Just get them out of here, like Yusuf says. Just get them out of here. Just hang up on them. Right. So you're going to hear my tone when I answer. Because I already knew what he was doing, but we didn't know yet that it was this stuff that we're seeing now. Right? Whether he got a phone call from somebody, whether he got threatened, whatever it was that made him switch. Right? This is one of the instances that, you know, you just wonder how come people do certain stuff. You know what I mean? You know, like you just wonder, like, how come certain people just do certain things? Why would they do that?
Question to all the Grand Sheiks: who are the active members the Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I want you to listen closely to the response, 2015. Let's roll.
So, actually, I'm going to read a question that's coming in from Assistant Grand Sheik Rami Salaam L. And the question coming through the chat says, does any of the Grand Sheiks know who are the members of the Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam?
Islam. I wouldn't have an answer for that question. I yield the floor.
Now you just heard it. When I posed the question, put it on the table, Brother Cool Joe, back in 2015, his response to who are the members of the Supreme Grand Council, I don't have an answer for that.
Why? Because even in 2015, we knew it was BS. Because where's the manufacturing company? Where's all this stuff that you people are supposed to have that was around in the 1900s? You have nothing, and you're claiming some authority? Then you're not real. You're not real. So we're going to be the real to the best of our ability. Because trust no one, especially people saying Moorish Science Temple. Because it was actually in the actual line of the Mealy Ill line where there was fraud going on. We're not talking about the Kirkman Bays and whoever. That's why we're reading the Mealy Ill letters. That he even knew that there was traitors around. This is after Noble Drew Ali. People trying to take over. Noble Drew Ali founder, December 27th, 1928. Dear brother, Brother Lomax Bey, be very careful of propaganda and news that you hear. There is a certain movement from the churches to destroy our movement and dishonor me, and that have men paid by Europeans and Asiatics, and any outside letter that you receive, let me know the message, then I will know that you are a Moor, and I favor Moors. We Moors, not we members, we Moors must stand in unit. We stand together according to deeds and actions and not word of lips. We Moors must stand in unit. We stand together according to deeds and action and not word of lips. Remember, this is Drew Ali telling you. So who's violating the Prophet when they're not active, which is the actions that Noble Drew Ali is talking about. That's why we say we know that this is Clif Soulo. This is not Rami Salaam nothing. This is Clif Soulo. Clif Soulo with a fez on. This is J Electronica with a fez on. That's what this is. Moorish J Electronica. But it's not even Moorish. That's just Clif Soulo. And it was a second. But it wasn't until the Moors brought up about him talking about the blickety and all that stuff that it hit me. There was never a Rami Salaam El. It's Clif Soulo. You see how NOI just changed the sign? Clif Soulo just changed the sign to Rami Salaam El. That's not real. This is word of lips. We're not word of lips. Between 2015 and 2021, the amount of work we put in, what has he done since 2015? And what has any Moor done who's been around since 2015 and now it's 2021? What you got to show? Just show some stuff. Just show what you did between 2015 and 2021. And you have nothing to show, then you're not active. And if you're not active, then you're not a true Moor. Why? Because there is a certain movement from the churches to destroy our movement and dishonor the prophet, and that have men paid by Europeans and Asiatics. This letter is to be read to the temple. The 8th of January is my birthday. That will be our Christmas, and all presents are sent on that day. I look for all faithful Moors to send me a present on that day, no matter how small or how large. Let it be finance or domestic. It is a law of Allah and not mine. For I am only his son, one of his sons. He's one of the sons of Allah. We are under the crescent and star, and the same as other prophets have been, and the world is under the same. Love to all. Noble Drew Ali.
That's unacceptable, especially in the position of a Grand Sheik. You're the leader, the official, the head of the temple. As we highlighted earlier, all the heads of the temples, all the Grand Sheiks are supposed to be working with the Supreme Grand Council via the Supreme Grand Business Manager to submit their reports every month. So it's no way that Brother Cujo, any Grand Sheik, cannot have an answer for who the members of the Supreme Grand Council are, because
just like I don't have an answer for what the board of directors of Walmart are. What do I care who the Walmart board of directors are? Why do I care? And why you care so much? Why is Clif Soulo care so much about this artificial entity that Noble Drew Ali created? And Noble Drew Ali said that we're not colored, right? If Moor Science Temple of America is a religious corporation, filed papers with the corporate state and all that, then that's colored. So obviously that's not what this is about. This is about nationhood. This is about we are our nation. We are in our own land. There has to be some connection to trying to cause confusion. There's no other reason. Nothing makes sense. Absolutely nothing makes sense. Absolutely nothing. And this is some targeting stuff, because he's just targeting Grand Sheik Cujo as if Grand Sheik Cujo is a passive Moor and hasn't put in work. Like he doesn't know how much work Grand Sheik Cujo put in. He doesn't know? No way he doesn't know how much work Grand Sheik Cujo put in. No way. It's impossible. It's impossible. No, and then going back through the Rolodex and stuff and thinking, hold on a second, the only reason why he's publishing a book is because freaking Grand Sheik Cujo's the connect. Do I need to get hold of Setting Rock? Grand Sheik Cujo's the connect. Oh, where can I get those Circle 7 rings? Grand Sheik Cujo's the connect. So how is it a targeting thing? Oh yeah, it's not targeting thing. We know all this is COINTELPRO. It's different levels, you know what I mean? Whether people are paid or not or whatever, it doesn't even matter. Their job is to cause confusion and to keep you confused. Never, ever, 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 since we've been Moor Science Temple, have we been riding with the people who claim to be the successors of Noble Drew Ali. Like, never did we connect with them, because the fact that you have to make that claim, you're a fraud. Why would you have to say that you're the ones that people? No, why is it even on that level? Never. But these people who they're telling us that we should side with and be some Supreme Grand Council, they're taking people from our temple that we left who were traitors and then making them join theirs, and then they use them to recruit people out here to be part of their stuff wherever they're at, instead of them just being part of what's already here. Right? So no more Rami. It's only Clif Soulo now, because we know. You try to be double agent and one of your disguises got caught. So you can't be that one anymore. Just like we only know certain people as Frank and Gary. We don't know where you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. No, Frank Gary. The YouTube snitch.
They have to work directly with them to submit their records and their documents and the taxes. You see? But I want to highlight that only to show you, when we move forward to the present, his tone changed. And it changed because I began to become more vocal about us addressing this issue and holding ourselves accountable. And what I began to realize, and what I want you to see, especially Moors, new Moors out there, Moorish Americans is just coming into this. What I want you to understand is that we have many brothers and sisters that are afraid to address this issue because they will be held accountable. In their past works, they weren't doing what they were supposed to, and for whatever reason, they want to avoid accepting responsibility and accountability. And so, as a result, rather than addressing and admitting, you know what, we messed up, we didn't do this, we need to get on track, rather than be honest, right, and be noble about it, making the correction, because we're not perfect, but rather than them do that, they make excuses, they point blame, they deflect. But I don't want you to just believe me. I want you to listen and pay attention. Now hear his response about the Supreme Grand Council here in 2021. And notice the difference.
So back to the letter. I personally have been researching and speaking on Supreme Grand Council for the past 6 years. Right? So he's been personally researching and speaking on the Supreme Grand Council for the past 6 years. Has he talked about the Supreme Grand Council in the past 6 years? They exist. It's not like they don't exist and you can't find them. And then how come he hasn't talked to them personally? And then if the response is, well, I tried to call them and they didn't answer, then what the hell does that tell you? Yeah, March 3rd, 2021. As of today, March 3rd, 2021, we do not have an active and functioning Supreme Grand Council. Yes, there is an active and functioning Supreme Grand Council. It exists. It's out there. But we know that those people are the traitors. We know without a shadow of a doubt that they're the traitors.
Okay, as you saw and heard, in 2015, the tone was way different. It was Grand Sheiks on the call, and the question was put forth on the table. Who were the active members of the Supreme Grand Council? Cujo's response was, I don't have an answer for that. And to be fair, the rest of the Grand Sheiks on the call didn't provide answers either. But I want to highlight this specific point. Because now, fast forward, after some years of me continually pressing this issue, calling for us all to be held accountable, all of these Grand Sheiks, Cujo included, because as you heard in the beginning, there are no favors in any of the temples. We all got to be governed accordingly, right? And once I started applying pressure and saying, hey, we need to fix this issue, all of a sudden, the tone changed with Cujo. You know what I mean? To avoid having accountability and realizing, you know what, I wasn't on my job. So to avoid that, now the answer changed. Now is, oh, we do have a Supreme Court. They're out there. They have a website and a P.O. box. You just gotta look them up.
That was always the answer. That was the answer in 2015. Why are you asking me about some stuff I'm not even part of, that I have no care about? I don't care about Walmart board of directors. 6 years you're asking about Walmart board of directors, who they are? You keep telling me we're not Walmart. Why don't you go to Walmart and ask them about their stuff? All right. The Moorish Science Temple. Actually, you know what? We'll just do it this way. This is Emilio again. He, the prophet, said, there is no salary attached to the work, but if you can put up with my fare, and if you are willing to sacrifice with me, I will see that your rent is paid. I will see that your other expenses are paid, and that you have a little spending change. That's what you get coming in. People were brought into the adepts by Noble Drew Ali. This is how they were looked after. If you're willing to sacrifice, I, the prophet, will see that your rent is paid. I will see that your other expenses are paid. Remember I was telling you that everybody's supposed to be Farrakhan? Not just him? Everybody's supposed to be DJ Khaled. Not just him. Every DJ is supposed to be just like that. But the game's rigged. It's never going to be like that. Just like it's never going to be what these people expect to see with some Supreme Grand Council in Moor Science Temple doing some stuff properly. They haven't for 100 years. They have 100 years of fixing to do before anything like that gets in order, as far as in their stuff. Returning from a trip around to the other temples one morning in front of the home office at 3603 Indiana Avenue, the Prophet said to me, Mealy Ill, Brother Mealy, you will study up now on all of my laws and prove yourself, because you will have to do what I am doing. You will go around to all the temples and report back to me. So read up on my Quran, questionary, constitution. Try to be perfect on all subjects, so you may act intelligent along a line of procedures. 20 minutes later in his office, on the same occasion, he, Drew Ali the Prophet, said to me, I find all of them want to sit in my seat, but at my absence, that is your station. And when you leave, lock the desk and put the key in your pocket. Everyone wants to sit there because there is where the money is. But I know who I want to sit there, and I know who I want to handle my money. And if you leave for any length of time, give the keys to Brother C. Kirkman Bey till you return. The several weeks before the Prophet passed, I was called to his private chamber for special instruction on the many ways of life. And it was done in a way one never thinks the Prophet was going to leave the earth then, but you would think he meant he was going to live on in the flesh. My final instruction came one night after being called from home by the Prophet, and after reaching his home and hearing him speak through his mighty Godheads, he then asked me if I were with him or if I were with them. He further said, I want to know the truth from you today, because I have done too much for you and for you to turn your back on me. I say I have done too much for you to turn your back on me. And if I thought you would turn me down after I was done for you, it would be too bad. It was known that there were traitors around during Noble Drew Ali's time. And with him out the way, all they got to do is get Miliel out the way. And then they could stagnate the movement into this religious ideal that has nothing to do with nationhood, nothing to do with conventions, nothing to do with Supreme Grand Councils, nothing to do with Supreme Grand Advisors and Supreme Grand Sheiks and National Grand Sheiks or whatever, because they sold out. And they stopped that activity and started doing some other activity that you go, every majority of Moorish science temple you go into, they got pews like a church. That should let you know that it's a church. Why does that have pews? Why is it set up that so people aren't able to engage each other? Why is it set up like a holier than thou? It's all part of letting you know these are the church people that took over the Moorish movement. Again, which is why the Moors gave us a charter and said, take what Drew Ali brought you and save the Moors near Canaanland who want to be saved. You're it. There's no one else. You're it. The affiliations that people make with all these Moors. All these Moors are there together. No, we're not. There's traitors in this that we don't affiliate with, and we're throwing out the trash today. This is one of those ones that you never thought there would be a traitor. No way. This one's a traitor. Yep. No way this one's a traitor. Yep. He's on the other side of the fence. And just like all the rest of the traitors, now you're on your own, riding with them. Just like all the other ones that pop their head up, we whack-a-mole with them for a little bit, and then they stop talking about Canaanland Moors and Cujo and all that, and they just disappear. It has nothing to do with us. Allah guides this. We're just in the ship, enjoying the ride. Did some loops, went through some vortexes, and like, this is serious. This ride is off the chain. The following letter sent from, before we do that, let's just put a little bit more of this traitor in here so we could have some.
So what happened? What changed? Was he being dishonest back in 2015? Did all of a sudden they come into existence between now and then? No. The truth was, back then and now, Brother Cujo and many Grand Sheiks, to be fair, are unwilling to address this issue. And rather than just admit, you know what, we haven't been doing our job, let's deflect. And if you notice, even in him saying that,
what does having not doing your job have to do with knowing the names of people on something? What? Sounds like he's diverting attention. Because the question was, what's the name of the Supreme Grand Council people? I don't know. So if the answer is I don't know, why are you still talking about stuff? Wouldn't it be best to just go find out? Since they have a phone number, since they have a P.O. box, since they have a website, why don't you just go ask them?
he then went on to say that the people in the seats are frauds and traitors. So what sense does that make? 2015, he's saying he didn't have an answer. He didn't know who was the members. Now all of a sudden he's saying, we do have a Supreme Court, and it is active, but the people in those seats are frauds, and they're not the right people in the seats.
And nowhere ever have we called what they're doing ours. Just like we don't call licenses ours and cards from this corporate state ours. We don't call these traitors organizations, even if they're called the same name as us, we don't call them ours because we know that we're separate. Because if they were doing their job, you would need us because there would have already been something established here since the 1920s, because that's when Noble Drew Ali wanted to come out here. They completely abandoned all these Moors near Canaanland and abandoned all Moors in every other territory that was supposed to have a Moorish Science Temple of America and didn't. Those are the people who didn't do their job, not the people who've been trying to hold this thing together. Stuff's tearing at the seams and you got 5 different hands trying to make this thing work. You're looking at us like we're not doing our job? Yeah, right. Too many dues got paid. Too many cuts and scratches to have you make the work look that we did mean nothing because you did nothing. Forget that, Clif Soulo. You're the one that didn't do your job. Because if you're assistant Grand Sheik and all that of hip-hop temples and whatever, you should have some temples all over the place too. Where's those at? Where's all your I am hip-hop temples that you're the Grand Sheik of? Just like these traitors, you're supposed to have one of those all over the place. We might not have a building, but we have satellite Moors who came through Canaanland Moors. That Moor called me and say, yep, this Moor told me to call you. Right? The passive ones are the ones who are not doing the work. You're not going to throw dirt on the work that we did. Because we know we save lives out here. We've got told that you saved my life because you gave me this website, or you sent me to talk to this Moor, or you told me to look this thing up. And no one's going to play tarnish that. We don't care if it stands for itself. We're still going to point it out. So it's extremely obvious. Islam. My dear brother, following letter sent from brother Emily Ill to Crombie Bay. Dear brother, I am agreeably surprised as well as glad to hear from you at this time. I have often wondered what had happened to you. Now, speaking of Dove L, you didn't give much understanding as to what this party was doing, or where he was operating, or who gave him his authority, if he acts on the lines of Islam. So find out what this brother is teaching, his right to do so, and who did he receive it from. Now the whole trouble is this. When I was on my way around to visit the temples in 29, Kurtman Bey was made Supreme Grand Advisor by a group of members secretly, and it was kept secret, unbeknown to me, what was on, till we were ready to transact our regular business in the convention. Then they sprang this trick of making Kirkman head of the organization, which is a direct violation of the Prophet's laws and the Holy Quran according to chapter 10 verse 22. We as heads of the Prophet's temple fell asleep at that point by being confused over the passing of our Prophet, which they knew you would not be expecting any surprise, and that they thought was the time for them to put him over. But I had stated in the outset in advance of any official work that in view of the passing of the Prophet and the much confusion that was very rampant at that time, we wouldn't be able to do anything effective except choose a grand treasurer and a board of trustees, which the Prophet said himself we should have. Anything else, I declared, would be unofficial until the next regular meeting of Supreme Grand Council. Means that there's such a thing, right? They're talking about meetings and all that. Where is it? How come they haven't held up with the work that Emily Ill was doing in the 1930s? He, Kurtman Bey, was made advisor anyway, but I knew I had been given the power by the Prophet in the first article of the Constitution to change anything that went wrong, and by the Holy Quran and the Constitution, which we did in the last convention. But he doesn't think so, and decided against him, yet he is still acting against the will of the Holy Prophet Drew Ali. But can you expect he thinks that he is perfect and right to do what he is doing, because so many of the governors and Grand Sheiks fell after the passing of the Prophet, and most of them are with him right now against the Prophet. They are fighting me because I won't stand for Kurtman Bey to act as Supreme Grand Advisor of the organization. They are doing all they can against me on his account, virtually destroying, if possible, the movement through willful, malicious disobedience. Now, some of the who are with him as against the Prophet, and I say against the Prophet because when you fail to recognize the man the Prophet appointed and give him your cooperation and support, you have virtually turned down the Prophet for someone else. And those I know of according to their ways and actions and works, Brother T.W. Ossie, Milwaukee, Brother F. Nelson Bay, Detroit, Brother Charles Bay, Cleveland, Sister Clif Bay, Indianapolis, Sister Dove L, Chicago. These don't write me when I write them, because I won't accept Kurtman Bay as the place of Drew Ali, and never do. How come we're talking about traitors and Clif Bay is in here? You can't make this stuff up. How come Clif Bay is in here as a traitor? They don't write Supreme Grand Sheik Milieu, because they're on the side of the traitors. You don't need to go further, but we'll keep going. Well, the time is proving all true according to the divine plans. He said, children, there won't be but a few saved, because you are not going to do what I tell you. Your way you want, and your way you're going to have. But your way leads downward, children. So you better do like I tell you. If you do like I tell you, there is a chance for you. If not, there is nothing for you but death. They govern their actions by majority, which is all right if the majority is right. On the other hand, if only one is right, that one is the majority. That's Islam. But you won't run the Moorish Science Temple of America according to the principles of Christianity or politics. And that is, you may be ever so wrong, but if the majority is with you, you are right anyway. But so in Islam, nothing but right will do. Well, that is why they fight me, simply because I won't accept Kurtman Bey as head of the organization. If I would do that, I would be all right with them. But Drew Ali said to me on his sickbed before he passed, you do what I tell you. Never mind what they say. I have given you law, Quran, and Constitution, and I expect you to enforce my law and do what I say. Never mind what they say or do. They can do nothing but die. So you have the law as laid down by him, Drew Ali, and you will be required to answer for yourself in that day, and to choose now who you will follow, whether it be Kurtman Bey or Noble Drew Ali, the divine prophet of our God Allah. And I am going to accept you at the next convention, that if you may forego things amiss, because to follow anyone now except Drew Ali, you have no part with him. I hope I have made myself and the cause clear to you, and if not, write for further information. Peace. Emily L., Supreme Grand Sheik. September 26, 1930. Islam. Brother C. Kurtman Bey, this is to notify you that the above-named organization, Moorish Science Temple of America, in convention, September 15th to 20th, rescinded by voting out the mistake made by the second annual convention of 1929. And in doing so, you hold your membership roll, as when our prophet was here. And we hope you will still cooperate with the organization under the 5 principles. We hope further that you will comply with this notice and govern yourself accordingly, as there is but one Supreme Grand Advisor in the Moorish Science Temple of America, that being Noble Drew Ali. And anyone else attempting to be, from now on, is assuming of authority of himself and is liable to the penalties of the law. You've been playing games. Don't let them play games with you. This is your birthright. Get yourself with active Moors. Get yourself with active Moors. And help in the great missionary work of uplifting our people. You don't need titles. The only title you need is El Bede Al or Ali. And we say don't use Ali because Drew Ali said that's exalted and you need to earn that. I don't think it's cool. You want the cool name, so you're going to be Ali. No, that's not how it works. You think Supreme Grand Council was going to do what RV Bay did with that website? If they would have did their job, there wouldn't be needed to be a RV Bay. There would be a Moorish guide publishing corporation that's been here for 100 years, like all these other newspapers that's around here. And anybody who's doing graphics and anybody who's doing any type of stuff relative to that, they would be working at the Moorish publishers. But that wasn't accessible. So what they do it themselves. Now we don't need some permission from Moor Science Temple to sell a Quran on our website. What the hell are you talking about? You guys nuts? We need permission from you. People are traitors. Please. Please.
What are we doing to address that? Has Cujo done anything to address that?
What? What have we done to address these traitors? He said, F them. We already have our charter and all that stuff. If you want, be a member of our temple, but don't go out there trying to start a temple and all that stuff, because these traitors are going to hunt you down. Why do you think it's Rise of the Moors and not Moor Science Temple? Because I know they were looking to be Moor Science Temple, because the Moor Science Temple, you don't need them. You're the Grand Sheik of Rhode Island. Who else over there saying that they're Moors? Nobody? All right, then you're it. Ain't nobody else. And don't even call yourself anything relative to these traitors. Because they have an agenda. And their agenda is stagnate the movement. That's their agenda. Stagnate this. Have you looking at this through a straw. And all you're seeing is Moor Science Temple of America, and you think that's it. Right? You know, and that was Moor Science Temple of America that did that. Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just give a charter? Drew Ali said, anybody who wants a charter, you can get a charter. Hey, Moor Science Temple, can I have a charter? $250. Why is $250? What's that for? Well, you got to join, and then we're going to give you the 8-step program for the Moorish flight school. And then once you go through the Moorish flight school, the spiritual school for the Moors and stuff like that. And then after you go through that, then you get your first degree. And then when you get to 500 degrees, then we can give you a charter. They played you all your own stuff. For months I've been wondering, where's his tassel? Like, where's his tassel? And then I remembered, yes, that's the fez that whoever bought him. That he wants to give them honors by wearing their stuff that they bought him. They're not even saying they're Moors or whatever. They don't care. But I want to just, let them know I love them. I'm gonna put up this flag with the skull and bones on it because my son likes that show and all that stuff. But then when he comes for questions, you kick him out the room and tell him I'll talk to you later. I'm busy. I'm busy talking to 20 people, so I'll talk to you later. Shame on you. Clif Soulo talking crazy. How's Clif Soulo talking crazy? I don't know where Rami Salaam is buried. But this isn't him. Go back and check. I bet you there's a tassel on the fez. Don't get played. This is about your birthright. This is about Moorish nation, Moorish empire. This is not about some club. We're Moorish Science Temple of America to honor Noble Drew Ali's vision of there being Moorish Science Temple of America here, because none of these traitors would have did it. So because they did it, we know they were supposed to do certain things and they didn't. It's okay. I'm not mad, but we're going to call you out for the stuff that you didn't do. We'll call you out for the stuff you didn't do, for your passivity or for your traitorousness. Because there's no need for you to be a traitor and there's no need for you to be passive. There's enough for everybody, Drew Ali said. Even the passive people have work to do. They're not even active in their passivity. They're passive in their passivity. Like that's slower than a snail. You're passive. And then talking about the active Moors who are active for real, saving lives out here. Oh, what we're doing doesn't matter because we're not part of the Supreme Grand Council. What? Then we get it. People are new, so they don't know. They haven't been around since 2008. You know what I mean? They don't know what a clean slate is. All they know is walk in the room and stuff's on the board. Never seen a clean board ever in their life. Every time they go in the room, stuff on the board. And then that just became the norm for them. Have you confused? Don't even know what's on the board, just sitting there, waiting for the teacher. And then you're talking about take notes. Follow what those people did. There's people who just left the stuff on the board, left the room, not giving you any instructions, just sending you out here. It's either they're on the side of the nation and the empire, or they're traitors. That's how you have to look at the landscape. And then that's why you're supposed to be studying, so you know. So that way nobody can tell you any BS, pull no wool over your eyes, and you're talking about, I was just able to see, and I don't know. How come I can't see? What's happening right now? I was just able to see, but I can't see. Help, someone, I can't see. There's a sheet on your head, you idiot. Oh, sorry, I didn't. That's why I couldn't see you. Or are you going to be the dumbass still walking around with the sheet talking about help, help? We need something for the Moors. Who's going to... What are you doing for the Moors? Show me something you did for the Moors. Show me something you did for the Moors. What did you do? Nothing? Shut the hell up then. I want to hear you. So we're taking Clif Soulo and we're discarding Clif Soulo. Because we have accepted the realization that there's no Rami Salaam. And Clif Soulo has nothing to do with Moors and all that stuff. He is the blickety guy. He's not concerned about Moors. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. And you already know. Honors to all the mothers. Peace and love to all Moors. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali.
I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I'm saying, I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I'm going at dirty rappers, lynching dirty Moors too. Hiding literature that Drew wrote to warn you. They claim to make you Muslim and make you sovereign. With paperwork and filings, they fiat, they rob it. They don't care about his words, throw it out like garbage. Or throw it at you when you're active, not passive. When they want to talk about like off a trampoline mattress, treat them like a vamp or a teen actress. Get stamped with the brand like a mean savage. This Inquisition divine, all others average. Millennium Renaissance, heroes in our classes. Fed up with the czar controlling fascists. Ask if they heard about Moors, they say no. But Masons, they obviously know. Down the handshakes and rituals with skull and bones. They even know about owls burning in Bohemian Grove. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. Dirty Moors killed Drew. I read the FBI papers on loyal Moors, emergency fund rapers, Moorish literature and divine ballot changers. Might as well say Drew Ali was born in a manger. Prophet pushed poison inside and his food smelled danger. Got me treating every Moor like a stranger. Grand Sheik pumpkins stumbling drunk in their feds. What was proclaimed for every meeting was not read. Some Moors are so active, Prophet can't be dead. Thanks Moorish teachers away, I can't be led. Actions speak, then I consider what's said. And what's said was study, then study yourself. Honest to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. Everybody wants to be just like Drew Ali, but nobody wants to care about Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did.